The Gonzaga Bulldogs have lost just one time this season. 37-1 is their record, and Nigel Williams-Goss, a player that you just spoke about, was asked about the impact of that lone loss to BYU on February 25th and what it's done to help them cultivate this season.
No, it definitely didn't make us question anything that we were doing. I mean, even if you look at that game, I think we led for like 30-plus minutes of the game. So, and we're still sitting at 29-1, so it wasn't like we had any sort of a bad year. But it just like let us know that when we deviate from our process and what we had done the rest of the year, you know, we're susceptible to losing games. And more than anything, I just feel like that taste of losing, you know, how we felt in the locker room afterwards was something that we wanted to never feel again. And we just took it upon ourselves to say, hey, look, you know, we felt it now. We still have 2 more goals ahead of us going into the WCC tournament. That was one of our preseason goals. We wanted to win that tournament. And then obviously to be sitting here 40 minutes from a national championship.
Dylan, you think that loss to BYU in the regular season finale helped form Gonzaga into a team that is capable of cutting down the nets against the North Carolina Tar Heels tomorrow?
Yeah, I do. You know, I think for this team, and this has been something we've talked about the whole entire season, and more specifically under a microscope during this NCAA tournament, is, you know, the pressures of Gonzaga getting to a point and kind of, you know, the whole monkey off the back thing that Mark Few had his press conference. I don't see a monkey. Where's a monkey? Yeah. It's there. And that's the whole reason he went on this whole defensive tirade and rant about the monkey on the back. It's there. I think if you put that pressure along with undefeated pressure, it just would have been too much. And maybe I'm wrong, but I think the fact that you could kind of narrow the focus of being like, okay, we're not going to be the Hoosiers of the late 70s. We're not going to be the next team since them to go undefeated and cut down the nets. Now we just have one goal that really was the whole goal after all, just to go and win the NCAA tournament and be champions of college basketball. That's it. It's not twofold. It's not twofold. It's not. There's not branches off the tree of, well, while we do it, we'd like to be undefeated. And it just would have been too much pressure, I think. And I know we talk about it all the time, and it becomes cliche to a certain point of a good loss, a loss that opens your eyes and gives you perspective. But I think in this case, it really did. I think it scared the wits out of them, because they didn't think they were going to lose. I think this is a confident bunch that comes from Mark Few and the way he instills that confidence within his players in this program. They're the biggest, best program in the West Coast Conference. As I said it over and over again, they're the big fish in the little pond. I think the fact that a little fish in that pond, and BYU's gotten them. BYU's played them very well over the last several years. They've had their number more so than any other team in the West Coast Conference. I think that sort of reminded them that they are vulnerable. And exactly what Nigel Williams-Goss just said there. The fact that, you know, they should beat everyone on their schedule, but when they deviate, they're vulnerable just like anyone else, just like the Warriors were last year, or any other great team. And that's the way it goes. I think this was a really good loss. Now, you have that, and then you have what did the loss in last year's championship game, because so many of the same players for Carolina, what did that teach that team? So kind of one loss in last year's championship game for the Tar Heels, and one loss to BYU earlier this year. Those just single losses on the respective sides for these two teams will be very interesting to see how they fuel Monday night's performance by the Heels in this.